Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, really glad you joined us. Hope you like what you hear. So we've got yet another outstanding guest coming onto the podcast today. Her name is Lisa Gerardy. She is an author, a lifelong writer. She holds a master's degree in English and also was a stand-up comedian at one point, which we forgot about until we got into our conversation. So she is very funny, even though she's got some unfunny topics that have happened to her in her life, which she's willing to talk about, which we really appreciate her coming on and doing. So, super neat lady. Really glad to have her on the podcast. Let's bring Lisa on now. So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we spoke. And I've been looking forward to having you on the podcast because I think you and your story and your approach are the embodiment to what we preach on the podcast. And, our whole podcast is entirely about people living a purposeful and meaningful life. That's it.
Hmm.
That's the whole point of it. And we think the world would be a better place if everyone determined what was important to them. And to us, that's the beauty of it. You get to pick whatever that is. It's not my place to tell you whether you should
Hmm.
be a ballerina or a plumber or a teacher or a lawyer or a mother or whatever. You get to pick it. But whatever it is you're going after, it should be intentional. You should choose to go after it, not because other people tell you to, society tells you to, whatever. And
Hmm.
you should be getting after it. That's the whole point for us. And your story is super interesting to us because you've experienced some pretty tough stuff in life and you have not let it stop you. And you've pursued things that you didn't necessarily have experience with. You didn't necessarily have a ton of confidence as you were going into them. And here you are, all successful and shit, and that's awesome. So we we want to hear all about that story and what you've learned from it. So that's the point.
Okay.
So with that said, I turn the floor over to you. What we ask our guests to do is just do kind of a broad overview of your life, and you can start that wherever you want. If you want to start in childhood, that's awesome. If you want to start as an adult, that's awesome too. It's your story. You get to tell it. And then we go back and do deep dives on the big stuff, the points of inflection, the learning points, and
Hmm.
spend some time on that. And I'm looking forward to talking about your book, which is awesome. And so with that, I'm going to stop talking, turn the floor over to you. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I was abused as a kid. I was first sexually abused at age 2, which is, a therapist told me profound abuse. And then I, grew up with a single mom, very angry, poor, government cheese, mommy dearest type situation. So the abuse continued with her physically and then her scary boyfriend, sexually and physically to her. So, I mean, that kind of took a toll on my self-esteem and the way I approached relationships. So I had, a failed first marriage, bad relationships until I found my normal, which is why I call my book Chasing Normal, because
Mm,
I finally found it maybe. Like I don't know if I'm normal, but so now I'm married to Chris for 20 years. We have 3 huge dogs. They're Great Danes. And they're the reason I'm in my closet right now because they like to be a part of everything. There's a saying Velcro Dane, and they are that. They're Velcro Danes. So
really?
yeah, yeah. Do you
My
have a
so
dog? I know.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say my dog is attached to me. That's in our logo. It's my Irish Terrier. That's our logo, is our Irish
Mhm.
Terrier. But she follows me all around. But I mean, she's 35 pounds. I was just thinking of Velcro Great Dane. That's something else. Those are big dogs.
Yeah, so our one girl, our oldest girl is probably pure Great Dane. They're all rescues. Okay.
Mm,
So we're pretty sure because she lived in this house, or not she, her mom lived in this house, the father lived in the house next door, and there was an accidental mating that happened. So yeah, I don't know if he bought her a drink first, a milk bone, whatever, but that just happened. And so there were 7 puppies, and Kira is one of those puppies. And we're still friends with the other puppies' moms on Facebook because we're those people.
sure.
Um, and then the other 2, Heinz, definitely probably mixed with Weimaraner or however you pronounce that, because he is full of anxiety.
Mm.
And he was, in a backyard breeder situation where he had to fight over food with other dogs. So now he's just ended a 2-day hunger strike because he just is so anxious about food. And then Dulce is a street dog from Tijuana. And I don't know what she's mixed with, but she's big and she's a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. So they're Velcro, they're Velcro Danes. So you're going to be in the closet. For what it's worth, nobody's got to be in the closet on Salty Ginger Talk. That's their own choice.
Right,
You can choose
right,
what you want
right,
to
right.
do. We're totally cool with everybody. We love everybody. But when you're done, are they going to be outside like one of them smoking a cigarette, one of them rocking back and forth, shaking,
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
for you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm surprised Heinz hasn't scratched yet. Heinz is like a boyfriend I had in high school. He like follows me everywhere. He's got his eyes on me at all times. Yeah, I was surprised he might start. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's good stuff. Well, for what it's worth, if you need to let them in, we could care less if there's dogs in the background. We're a very low key environment here. We're about meaningful and genuine conversations, and we really appreciate you coming on. And look, I know you wrote a book about it, and I know that you have been through lots of these conversations and learned to deal with the things that you've had to deal with your whole life. But let me just say, I appreciate your willingness and candor to talk about those things so directly. um, there's people out in the audience that might not be at that point yet. It might not be in that stage yet. I know that's why you do what you do, but I always think it's worth acknowledging when people are willing to come on and speak so candidly about things that a lot of people find difficult to talk about. So thank you for coming on and sharing that with our audience. Do you recall when you were a kid? Do you recall when these things were going on? Did they seem normal to you? Did you have any comparison to know that, hey, something's really off in my house? This should not be going on. What was that like?
So, I mean, when I was an older kid, yes, there were comparisons because when I got into middle school, I got into a good friend group. And even before that, in elementary school, I had a good friend, Jenny. I'd go to her house. It would be so relaxing there. We'd lay on the couch and read together. Nobody's parents were screaming and yelling. Nobody was throwing knickknacks. So I thought, wow, this is nice. I wish my house was like this. And then when I got into middle school, I became friends with a really good group of people, and I'd go to their houses and be like, this would be kind of nice to be normal, But yeah, I compared to other friends, and I'm very lucky I had those friends because I had something to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. We've had several folks on the podcast who had similar experiences to the ones that you're talking about, and it's a wide kind of swath of, hey, I had nobody else to talk to. I
Hmm.
had nobody else to compare to, or I had someone to go to and someone to talk to. And so I
Hmm.
always find it interesting to understand what that was about. So, did your mother know about these things when they were going on and just turn a blind eye or just ignore, or did she not know about those? How do you think that played out?
You didn't know about what happened when I was 2. We were living, my mother was escaping her second marriage, and we were living with her mother in Peoria, Illinois, and her mother had remarried, and that man's son was a teenager, 16 years old, and I was 2,
Mm,
and began sexually abusing me. She did not know about that because when I tried to tell my grandmother told me we don't talk about things like that. So I just kept it inside until my mother allowed that teenage boy to come live with us because my grandma was having trouble with him. And, he was out of high school, I guess, at this point, and he did it again. And then I went running into her room where she was with her alcoholic, abusive married boyfriend. And all they did was they put him on a plane the next day and sent him home. Like I didn't go to a doctor. It was just like go to school. Like nothing happened, no therapy, no doctor, nothing. So it just, I mean, it told me like they didn't do anything. And then when that boyfriend started kissing me with his mouth open and stuff like that, I told her, and it took her a year to get rid of him. So not much, no.
wow. So
Yeah.
no, and I don't have experience in this, so that's why I'm asking this question. Knowing what you know now and having been able to deal with this in a productive way, what should someone do if they know this is going on to a young kid? Say, I mean, 2 is wild, but it happens to 2-year-olds?
Mhm.
Let's start there, under 5, where it's a kid. What should someone do if they know about this? How do they handle it? How should they handle it?
Well, report it to law enforcement. And if you're the parent, definitely take that kid to counseling or something. I mean, that's a lot to take in at that age, and just to be expected to stuff it. I went to therapy on my own when I was 19, and I was walking out the door on my way to therapy, living with my parents at the time, my mom and my stepdad. And my mom said, I hope you find peace, Lisa, as though I was just like some crazy person that just needed to find peace. And it had absolutely nothing to do with her.
Like you're going to church or the mall or something.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. And so she was, I think what you said was her boyfriend was a real gem as well. And
Mhm.
you had episodes where he was abusive towards you as well.
Mhm.
How long were you around that person?
Roughly 7 years from
Oh,
age 6 to age 13.
wow.
Yeah.
And do you think
And
do you think your mom knew about those instances?
I told her. Well, also, and he was hitting her. Like he dislocated her jaw twice.
Oh,
And she was one of those women who didn't press charges because I called the cops, as a 10-year-old. When I was 7, I do vividly remember at one point grabbing a steak knife from the kitchen and telling him, stop hitting my mom. I don't know what I thought I was going to do, but
mm.
I tried.
Yeah. So how do you think? Well, I don't know if think's the right way to say it, but it would be very easy for someone in that situation to say, "Hey, the deck is stacked against me. Life is not fun. I'm not going to make it out of this." How do you think you develop the mental fortitude or the coping mechanisms or whatever it is that you used to make it through those tough times when you were in them? How did you deal with it mentally?
Well, mentally, so I did have some good friends, and I also had an aunt Fran. She was my babysitter when I was growing up, but she was very calm and soothing, and she had a young daughter when I was 7. Nicole was born, and so she kind of showed me mothering, that could be nice, like making cookies and all that good stuff. So definitely that helped a lot. And having friends helped a lot. Like you could talk to my friend Hillary from middle school today, and she will still remember how my mother was. Several of my friends have seen her in action, so they get it. But yeah, I did have people to talk to, and having that good group of friends was everything. Like these were good kids, smart kids, they didn't smoke and all that stuff. Being around that was very helpful.
Sure. That's great that you had that. I had a friend who was in a similar it was an abusive situation, just physical abuse. There wasn't sexual abuse. And he used to on weekends take turns kind of spend the night at everybody's house to just get away from it. And
Mhm.
he had an older brother who was kind of the rock of that situation. I mean, just a solid guy. And he kind of helped everybody make their way through and out of that whole situation. But what did you think as a young girl? Did you think about what your life would be like when you made it out of that situation? Did you have plans and goals? What were you thinking about in terms of, hey, how do I get out of this?
When I was really young, I wanted, you mentioned ballerina. Sure, I wanted to be a ballerina. We didn't, we couldn't afford the lessons. I took one lesson for free, with my friend Jenny. Then I wanted to be a nurse. Like I always knew I'd go to college. I didn't know from there what really. I just knew I wasn't going to do what my mom did. I wasn't going to live in shitty apartments and date a man who beats me because he throws me cash for the bills sometimes. To me
Yeah.
that was like prostitution. Like get a second job. She already left me home alone a lot, so why not just get a second job?
Totally. No, I'm totally with you. And it makes perfect sense. It's just a lot of times as kids, we don't have some people don't have the coping mechanisms, and we all go through different experiences. I don't have anything nearly as tough as the ones you're talking about. Um, but like, my dad served in Vietnam and I was the only boy. So I have three sisters and no male cousins. All my cousins are girls too. So like I was it
Wow.
as it went for men, boys. And for whatever reason, he felt comfortable talking to me about his experiences in Vietnam. So I'm like 8 and he's showing me pictures of him in Vietnam and he shows me a picture of a little Vietnamese kid and says, cute kid, huh? And I said, yep. He said, yeah, I shot him about 5 minutes after I took this picture because he had 4 grenades in his shoe shine box. And so I'm like, fuck, I
Oh,
guess I'll
wow.
guess I'll make my bed.
Yeah. Tight corners. Bounce a quarter off it. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't want my dad whipping the goddamn M16 out again here. He's
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
so I mean everybody has certain things like that in their past. Again, mine are nowhere near in my opinion as difficult as the ones that you experienced. And I'm just curious. Everybody takes a little bit different path. And the reason I'm asking the questions is I want our listeners to understand, hey, there's not one right way to figure this out. It's whatever way works for you. And for you, it was at least one good, responsible adult. You talked about your aunt. I think you said was Patty. Was her name?
Fran.
Fran. I'm
Fran.
sorry.
Uh-huh.
Fran. I had a, I have a
I
Fran
do have
and a
an Aunt
Patty
Patty.
in. I have a Fran and a Patty in my life, and I confused the two of them for a second.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Anyhow, and then you had a good group of friends. So, those are folks you could lean on when things were not great for you.
For sure, for sure. And I've always liked writing. I can remember, on Saturday mornings I had a TV in my room so that I would leave my mother alone in the morning and I'd have on the cartoons or the Land of the Lost or all of that stuff. And but I would have a little pad and I don't have any of the stuff I wrote back then, but I'd just be writing.
Mm,
And that kind of kept me busy. I've always been like a quiet, introverted person.
sure, that's why you're on our podcast, right? You've cured
I'll
it.
need
Good
a nap.
job. Yeah.
I'll need a nap after this.
No, I'm just kidding around. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And it's funny because I get my energy internally as well. I'm very difficult to be
hmm
motivated by external forces. So like I am very difficult to motivate if I don't want to be motivated. Like I have a pretty strong inertia either way. If I'm going, it's hard to stop me. And if I'm stopped, it's hard to start me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about. So anyhow, you had said, at least I can't remember if you said this or I read it because I try to do my research and be ready for my conversations when we bring people on the podcast. But clearly, these experiences would impact your personal relationships with men as you grew up. How did you see those impacts?
Absolutely.
How did you see those impacts play out as you kind of went through your teenage years and into your adult years?
Well, I was looking for normal. So I started, at 16 dating this guy. He seemed, nice and normal. And it was weird, like I was looking at that young of an age, like at a family to join. Right. So um but that didn't work out. He's the one that followed me everywhere and had to always have eyeballs on me and get ridiculously jealous. So that didn't work out. I did any sexual experience I had as a young person, I had to be drunk. I could not be sober.
Mhm.
So, back then we could get wine coolers really
Oh yeah, I
easily.
remember Bartles and James. You bet. Seagram's. You
Yes,
betcha.
yes.
You bet.
So that had to happen, and yeah, I used alcohol a lot for anxiety relief, as I think a lot of young kids did, teenagers did back then. So easy to get. Just pay a little bit extra at the gas station store and they'll sell you anything back then. Um, I did not do drugs. Like there was always the people at the back fence smoking pot or whatever. I never did that. That never
Yeah.
appealed to me. It doesn't, I live in Arizona now. It's fully legal. It doesn't really appeal to me. I hate the smell, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, alcohol for sure. And just trying to find a family to join, I guess. I mean, I don't think young Lisa quite carried the one on that, but that's definitely dating, I was like, is this a good family to join? Yeah. I didn't say that out loud. That would have been scary, huh?
I'm laughing at carry the one. That's a great
Yeah.
analogy. I like that a lot. I'm a math guy, so that makes perfect sense.
Oh, okay.
um, So you talked about normal. What did normal mean to you at that point in your life? Like what were you looking for? What was normal to you?
Two parents, a real house that's not connected to someone else's house or on wheels. Um, the electricity not getting turned off for non-payment. A mom that cooked like dinner, or a dad, whatever, a parent that actually cooked dinner and didn't pop in a TV dinner or drive through KFC. Um, a backyard, with a fence, stuff like that. Like everything I have now is what I was looking for.
Mm, gotcha. Yeah. So, you when you went to college, did you move out and stay at college, or did you live at home and go to college?
I moved out the first year. My mother, she dropped out of high school to have my brother. So she was very for pushing me to go to a state school. I got into Florida State, had to do that. And
You can do the
I
chant if you want. It's
just,
fine with us.
no, no. I all I wanted to do was go to community college the first couple years. I really didn't want to go to a big football and party school because I don't care about football for the
Hmm.
most part.
Yep.
And so Florida State was stressful for me. So I finally got my mom to agree to me coming home if I went to FIU, not a community college. And I lived at home then, but then my stepdad was 20 years older than her, and he wasn't a bad guy, but he was just done. He was done with raising kids. So
Sure.
he was always encouraging me to move out. So I ended up moving out with my son's father before I married him. So I always tell my son, if my parents had been nicer, you wouldn't be here. So
You're lucky.
yeah, I went to live with your dad, and here we are.
Yeah, I used to tell our sons as they got look, I'm 53, and so that's I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And
Hmm.
like I've had a job since I was 12. That's just how it was when we grew up. Like
Hmm.
you were expected to
Same.
work if you were able-bodied.
Yep.
And so, I felt like they were kind of soft, and I always used to tell them, "Look, I can't miss you if you won't go away. Like you're men now. It's time to get out and take your lumps. Life is going to teach you the rest. I've taught you what I could, but I've been preparing you for this to go out and
Yeah.
let life kick your ass a little bit and toughen you up."
Yeah.
But that's different than, hey, I'm 20 years older and I don't want to deal with my stepkids. So, hey, could you move out?
Right, right. Yeah, the reason I moved in with my then boyfriend of 5 months is because he was taking me to look at apartments that were scary. Like there's Young Circle in Hollywood, Florida. It's nice now because they went in and fixed it up, but before it was like full of like drunk people, and taking me around this apartment building, and I'm like, "Oh my God, no. No. I'll just go live with this dude I'm dating."
Yeah, totally. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Um, so you said you went to therapy for the first time at 19. What motivated you to go to therapy? Did you know you needed therapy, or like what was that thought process like?
Um, uh, the man I was dating before the man I moved in with, he was a really nice guy, Ed. And I was, he said, you drink a lot, you have drinking issues, and you're not nice to me sometimes, and I know this happens. So he paid for me to go to therapy.
Wow, really?
Hmm. He was a nice guy, and I just, of course, shat all over him. But yeah, I didn't know how to be in a relationship yet.
Sure.
So I was just like, sorry, Ed. But yeah, he was a very nice guy. Probably
Well, and
still
it
is. I don't know.
yeah, well, it's not the easiest thing in the world to figure relationships out under normal circumstances, and you certainly weren't coming out of normal
Mm-mm.
circumstances. So, did you take to therapy right away? Did you get value out of it right away?
I did. It was group therapy.
Hmm.
So one of the things, which I guess isn't what I'm supposed to get out of it, one of the things that I got out of it was, wow, it could have been worse. Because there were a couple of women in there that had their first sexual experiences with their father.
Oh man.
One of the women had her first orgasm with her father.
Ooh.
So forget her sex life forever, right?
Mm,
Like, how do you come back from that?
yeah.
So, yeah. So I was like, well, at least it wasn't my father, right?
That's interesting because I actually have used that type of thinking as a coping mechanism my entire life. even as a
Hmm.
kid, I can remember thinking, well, hey, this didn't go very well, but fuck, at least I'm not that guy. That guy's got it worse than me, you know?
Right, right. I think
It,
it's a Generation X thing.
it could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it could be.
54. I just turned 54 a week ago. Today's the 17th. Yeah.
Well, happy
Um,
belated birthday.
Thank you. But yeah, that's a Generation X thing. Like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be fine.
That's the thing. Like, walk it off was kind of the advice you got for almost anything in Generation X. Rub some dirt on it,
Hmm.
toughen up, shake
Hmm.
it off.
Hmm.
Like there was
Hmm.
sympathy is found in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. It was not found
Yeah,
in
right.
Gen X parents,
Yeah, that's a good one.
for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so you did the group therapy. I'm always interested in therapy. We've had a lot of therapists on the podcast, and they are very high value people. My concern with therapy is always what is the outcome you're working towards? And we've always had good therapists, what I consider good therapists on the podcast, because they always want to get people to a place where they develop the coping mechanisms they need to not be in therapy anymore and live their
Hmm.
life normally through coping mechanisms. So, did you find any of that type of conversation or experience when you were in there? Did you do more than just group therapy? Did you continue with therapy?
Yes, I didn't stick with that very long, that particular group, but I did do one-on-one therapy when I was in grad school. There was a counselor on campus. By that time, I was going through a divorce from my son's father. So,
Mhm.
I did, yeah, I've had a couple of instances here and there. Overall, I have to say I don't like therapy.
Yep.
It feels very hokey to me. I I write, that's what gets it out of me. Writing my book got like a lot out of me, like all the shame and whatever, that's it. It was like I vomited words or something. But yeah, I got some like for panic attacks. I got some, where they say find five colors or, get in touch with your environment, those kind of things. Those are helpful, but just talking to some person every day rehashing because that's just a person too. And let's face it, Ted Bundy majored in psychology, and that happens a lot of times. Someone who's screwed up themselves majors in psychology to not only help people but figure themselves out. So I guess I'm saying like, how are they any better than me?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you. Like at the end of the day, I still feel like, and I'm not anti-therapy in any way, shape, or form. I think there's a lot of benefits to therapy. So let me just be very clear to anyone that's
Hmm.
listening. Not trying to say don't go to therapy, not trying to say therapy is not useful at all. However, I do think the goal should be working towards a point where you no longer need it. I hear a lot of
Hmm.
and I don't know, maybe it's just because I hear famous people and they seem like whiners to me. My therapist, my therapist, my therapist. You don't need a fucking therapist. You have millions of dollars. You've got people that love you. You've got all this shit around you. Toughen up a little bit and deal with life, you know?
Right, right, right.
But
That's
like
where I'm at too. Yeah.
yeah, but like the people we have on the podcast, they've dealt with some really serious shit. We've had other folks that have talked about the same issues that you have. We've had folks that have suffered incest on the
Hmm.
podcast. We've had folks that have lost children on the podcast. I
Hmm.
mean, those are really hard things in life.
Oh,
Those are like the
very. Yeah.
hardest things in life. And they all have
Hmm.
figured out how to build a meaningful and productive life for themselves after those experiences have happened. And one of the things I've noticed with everybody that's been successful at it is they've confronted it. They haven't
Hmm.
denied that it happened. They haven't tried to minimize that, hey, that was a shitty thing I went through, but I'm going to be
Hmm.
okay because I've got X or I've got Y or I did X or I did Y. And
Hmm.
that's what I always try to flesh out in our conversations is what were those steps or what worked for you? Because I think that's a little bit different for everybody and just trying to get that exposure to our audience that, hey, if you're going through any of this stuff, you got to fight
Hmm.
your way through it. You got to get to the other side. And the only way to do that is to confront it. Like you can't minimize it. It's not going to go away, but you can get past it if you're willing to go at it. And that's why I'm asking the questions about therapy. It's not about therapy itself. So
Hmm.
yeah. But the writing makes perfect sense to me. And you've said even since you were a young girl that writing was your thing. And so you went through college. You if I got the timing right, based on what you said, while you were in college, you got married, had a baby, and got divorced before you finished college. Is that right?
I finished graduate school. So I got married after I got my bachelor's degree,
Hmm.
like maybe 6 months after I got my degree. Had my son a little bit over 2 years after that. And then when he was 2 is when we started going through the divorce. And I was going to grad school and I was doing stand-up comedy. I've always liked to have at least 6 jobs. I mean, why relax, right?
That's right. I forgot you were the introvert that did stand-up comedy. I forgot about that. You
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
that. You mentioned that in our first conversation, but let's stick with college and grad school first. What would you go to grad school for? What was your MBA in, or what was your degree in?
English. I liked writing, I liked reading, so I said, why not major in it?
Yep. So you've
Yep.
always known that was like important in your life, and it's something that you've always been
Hmm.
very passionate about and got a lot out of.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder if part of that isn't what helped you kind of deal with some of a lot of the shit that you had to deal with, is that, hey, at least you had something that you really loved to fall back on that was just yours. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I've always escaped into words
Yeah.
via, reading or writing.
Yeah. And there's a
That's how I get
catharsis.
my thoughts straight.
And
Uh-huh.
there's a catharsis that goes with that too, right? Because it allows you to
Yeah.
express it in a way that you still control how it's expressed. So
Hmm.
at least it seems to me like that would be very beneficial. So that's good. So yeah, what makes an introvert with a graduate degree in English become a stand-up comedian?
Well, people have always laughed at me when I go on a rant, like I'm angry or something. Like just today, I was on the phone with my best friend complaining about everything, and she's like not even breathing. She's laughing so hard. So I did notice when I'm sort of, sarcastic and complain about things, people laugh. So I just started doing it on stage. But you
Gotcha.
don't get paid much, and there's a lot of creepy guys in comedy too. So it wasn't
Yeah, I don't
really like I didn't want to go forever with it.
totally. I don't think you have to insert in comedy after you say creepy guys. I think
Right.
just just for what it's worth, just as a generic statement, I think that's accurate regardless of where you live in the world, right? So
Yeah.
I'd love to defend our gender. It's just indefensible in many instances. So
Yeah,
it's
we have some creepy women too, though.
true.
Oh, what's the one that made babies with her middle school student?
Oh, Mary
Why
Kay
am I forgetting?
Letourneau, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. I taught high school briefly at an alternative high school in Florida, and I had a couple of the boys hit on me as I was like 29, 28,
Hmm.
29. And I told them I'm not Mary Kay Letourneau. And they were like, who's that? I'm like, you have Google, dude. Go check
Yeah.
it out.
Or Mrs. Robinson, right? From The Graduate. Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me?
Mhm. Right. Your
Yeah,
screen
no,
froze for me.
no. Oh, gotcha. Sorry, no worries. Yeah, no, I'm actually not trying to seduce you. I'm trying to teach you English. Now open your book.
Right, right, exactly.
But
You
that's
smell
how,
funny. Go away.
yeah, totally. There's did you ever watch the show Malcolm in the Middle?
No, but I watched Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Okay. So Malcolm in the Middle was Bryan Cranston's sitcom success, not his dramatic success. So his wife in there works at like a drugstore, and they're just an average blue collar family. And there's a guy that works at the drugstore that has a crush on her, and he's very open about the fact he has a crush on her. And so I can't remember the plot line, but at one point she says something to him and she recognizes that he's taking it the wrong way. And she stops and she goes, no. He goes, no, what? She goes, no, no to all the stupid stuff that's going on in your head. No, we're not
Right.
ever going to go to dinner. No, I'm not ever going to leave my husband. No, I'm not interested in any way, shape, or form in you. No, I know how men are. And no, no, no. And it just made me
Exactly.
laugh because I've had so many friends. I had a friend in high school that was dating a stripper. And I got nothing against strippers. Like, do your thing. That's, you can do what you want to do. I'm non-judgmental in any way, shape, or form. However, I know what that lifestyle is like. And he says to me, well, she doesn't date anyone that comes here. I'm like, dude, she's dating you. You met her here. Like, do
No, the stripper really loves you. Right.
exactly. But then the owner of the New England Patriots got caught at a massage parlor that did more than massages. They did full massages, let's just say that. And so
Mhm.
he got caught in a sting, and he went the reason he got caught is he went back the next day. And I mean, this guy's worth like $7 billion, and he's going to this massage parlor in a strip mall. And his buddy calls him and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "You don't know, you don't understand. We had a real connection. After I left the first time, she called me at home to make sure I had a good time to see if I wanted to come." I mean, this is a guy that's built huge businesses, and he gets a call from the rub and tug and goes
Oh,
back because she really liked him.
she likes him. Yeah, that's why she called.
Oh my gosh, you can't.
It's crazy.
Look,
Yeah.
I always say, and this is half joking, half not joking, that the reason relationships go wrong is because of women, actually. And the reason I say that is because we men are morons. And you know that we're morons. We acted like morons when you met us. We've always acted like morons, yet for some reason, you think at some point we're going to stop acting like
Right.
morons and act like normal, mature adult people. And we don't do that. We've never, but
Right.
why would you think that? We've given you no evidence to believe that, but you still believe it. I don't get it. Doesn't make,
I don't believe it. I've been coaching, my son's engaged. They've been together 12 years, but I've always told her men are like dogs. You have to tell them exactly what you want. You cannot hint. They don't pick up on the hint. You
not
tell
at
them
all.
exactly what you want. So, like when my son was growing up, I would have him just send me what he wanted for Christmas or make a list on Amazon because I'm not going to pick up on it. Just tell me exactly what it is. I'm not a man, but I have that issue too. Like I'm not going to pick up on your feelings or whatever. You just tell me if you're mad at me and tell me what you want for Christmas.
Totally. We're very, very basic creatures. And you raised one, so you know I raised three of them and I was one. There's no dumber life form on the face of the earth than a teenage boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole period with the monosyllabic grunts and the what, like I asked you a question. That's not a word. You didn't respond with a word. It was just a
Right,
noise.
right.
Oh God, they're so frustrating, aren't they?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you did the stand-up comedy for a while, you taught for a while. You've now you've written your book, at least one book. Have you written more than one? I know of the one. Have you written more than one?
I'm working on the second one. So I did write a YA novel back in the
Mm.
day under my maiden name, which is Petty. Like I'm literally petty. I hate it when people use my name in vain, by the way. So yeah, I just happen to have a stack right here in the closet. I wrote this book. This is my recent book. This is the memoir. That is me at like age 8 with my favorite dress in the 70s. Um, So yeah, I wrote a YA novel. I am working on a prescriptive memoir, it's called. So it's a workbook. So it's going to have some memoir stuff and some exercises to do and it is called Cracked Track Parenting. And I have a Facebook group called Cracked Track Parenting. It's for people who were abused as kids and now they have to parent. Where's your role model? Like what do you
Sure.
even do? You mess up a lot. That's what you do.
Mm.
It's like a whole new thing. It's not, these infants are not born with instruction manuals.
Yeah, and depending on when you have them, it's funny because my wife and I were talking about this the other day. You know, we were very young when we got married. We were 21 and 19 when we got married,
Oh,
and we were
wow.
22 and I was 22 and she was 20 when our oldest son was born. And
Wow.
so we went straight from being kids to being adults with a family, with blah, 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 all the other stuff that goes with it. And, you know,
Hmm.
here we are 30. So we've been together 33 years, married 32 years. And we were talking about, you know, I wish I would have done, if I could go back, I would have done this different.
Hmm.
I would have done that different. But, you know, you have all this knowledge now at this point in your life. You didn't know shit back then. I didn't, you know, then
Mm.
the biggest problem was I thought I knew everything back then. And I actually
Yes.
didn't know a goddamn thing back then.
Right.
I always
Yeah.
tell people I've gotten progressively dumber over the years because when I was 20, I thought I knew everything, and now I know I don't know a goddamn thing. So,
Well, and also, I think younger people don't have a lot of patience
yeah,
because they're still trying to live their own lives, and here they've got to bring a diaper bag with them. I was 25 when Serge was born. Yeah, I was 25. But still, that wasn't old enough for me. I had no
yeah,
business doing that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
for sure.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your book. I mean, I know it's a memoir. I know that you love writing, but what was it about your story that you made you want to sit down and write a book? That's not an easy process.
Okay, so it goes back over a decade ago, hanging out with normal people like in book club, and everybody goes around and talks about something about childhood, like, oh, Christmas was special. My mom made cookies. And then I'm here going, well, my mom once flipped a Christmas tree over and yelled, Merry fucking Christmas. And then everybody's face goes, so that's when I knew I had a story. I'm like, oh, this shit's not normal. People might read this. I don't know. You know. So then I just started like writing down what I remembered. I didn't honestly really start putting it together until my mom died because I really didn't want to deal with her gaslighting and say, oh, that's a lie. That never
Hmm.
happened. Yeah, it did. It
And yet
all
I was there.
happened. Yeah, I was there too, Mom. Uh, yeah, so it took 10 years of putting stories together, taking things out, editors telling me, you need a story arc. This is not an arc. This is just stories, that kind of thing. You can't have a whole lot of feelings if you're writing a book because you'll get a lot of criticism.
Mm. Yeah. And look, it's that way with anything artistic, right? Or anytime you're
Hmm.
expressing views or opinions, or like, even if they're heartfelt, like especially if they're heartfelt, people really feel compelled to tell you all the reasons why you're wrong or why you suck in those
Hmm.
in those particular instances. So, um,
Exactly.
I was fortunate. So I've played baseball. I was a baseball. I loved baseball since I was 3 until I met my wife. I was going to be a professional baseball player. It's all I ever wanted to do. And then I met my wife and I didn't care about it anymore, so I quit. But
Hmm.
it's a game that's filled with failure, and it taught me so much about how to learn. Hey, you don't like. I was a pitcher, and so like if you throw a pitch and somebody hits it out of the park, like everybody saw it. There's no hiding from it. It was you. You threw it. Everybody knows. And
Hmm.
I played at a level where it wasn't uncommon to play in front of thousands of people. So now you got thousands of people screaming at you and laughing at you and saying, "Oh, you suck, Canfield." And they give you a ball, another one, because the other one's out in the parking lot now. And
Hmm.
you've got about 30 seconds to gather yourself and say, okay, it's time to go again. You have to learn the lesson. You don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. Nobody else feels sorry for you. And if you don't want to deal with that, that's fine. They'll just come take you out and put another guy in. And you don't want that because you want to compete. That's the whole point. You're there is to play in the game and
Right.
compete. So you've got to learn that, hey, I made a mistake. I got to learn from it. I got to apply those learnings right now and move forward.
Hmm.
And so, I was, I think part of it is nature. I was born kind of without the give a fuck gene. I've never really given a fuck what a lot of people thought about me. And
Hmm.
then, like you talked about, our generation was kind of raised that way. Like, hey,
Hmm.
like it is what it is. And if you don't like it, whatever, there's a group over there. Maybe you like them, but this ain't for you. Um, but I didn't realize that those things were setting me up to be successful in the real world because people feel really comfortable telling you all the things that suck about you and all the reasons that you're
Oh,
wrong.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the artistic world, and I'm going to lump in writing with artistic, even though some of it is, some of it's not. I think it is. Um, it's just it's probably worse, right? I mean, they just this is all wrong. This isn't how I would write it. This is terrible. No one's going to read this. Like that's what they told J.K. Rowling 12 times too.
Yeah, yeah, no, it especially with memoir, I was posting, little snippets on Facebook before I published the book, and people from my hometown, South Broward Bulldogs are very supportive of each other. We're all friends, and but some of the people were like, well, your mom wasn't wrong for calling that a black neighborhood. It was a black neighborhood and it was scary. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Do you hear yourself?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
as
not.
they know, oh yes, that is scary. I know that place.
Yeah, but it's not 1976 anymore. We've learned a little bit, and we should be better people now than we were back then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you also have developed a coaching business
Mhm.
from the book and from the writing and from your experiences. Talk a little bit about that. How does that work?
It's called Off the Tracks. Can you tell I have like a choo-choo train thing happening here? We got crack track, we got off the tracks. It's all about the crazy train, and I had that in my head even before Ozzy died.
Yeah, for sure.
R.I.P. Um, So crack off the rails coaching is for memoirs only. So there are a lot of writing coaches out there. I think every writer has a coaching business, but I'm just doing memoir. I like to keep my niche in order, you know. So if somebody's, you know, got notes, just wants to talk, there's different levels you can work with me if you want to meet once a month like this, if you just want to go back and forth in writing. Um, it's there's information on my website, which is just lisagerardy.com.
Nice. Yeah, that's great stuff. And you brought up Ozzy. That was a tough week for Gen X. Ozzy and Hulk Hogan in the same week. Like
I know.
cultural icons biting the dust. Like nothing like screaming that you're getting old like that stuff, huh?
Hmm.
Uh, that was craziness. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
craziness. What do you like about the coaching? What do you like about your interactions with people you work with?
I love teaching. I do still teach college writing classes, but those are like research writing and, you know, kind of boring for creative people, but I like working with writers who are writing their truth and who are getting it out and seeing how it's therapeutic for them too. Like, I'm of course not writing books to become rich. Like, I'm not gonna play pickleball with Stephen King anytime soon, right?
No, nobody is after this week.
Yeah, right. But I like helping people get their story out. Everyone has a story, and I really like helping them.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we missed a spot here. So you talked about having a great relationship with your husband. How did you guys meet and how did that relationship play out? Because you didn't have a great base to build off of at that point in your life.
Right, right. We met at speed dating actually, and I almost didn't go. I was living 2 hours away from my mother at the time. She was a really good grandmother. So she drove over to stay with us, and my son was 7. So she was going to stay with him while I went to speed dating. And I told her, you know what? I don't want to go. I'll just hang with you guys. And she said, no, you're going. So the ladies moved around and the gentlemen stayed at the tables. And the first name I recognized on the table was my child's dentist. So I'm thinking, I need to become friendly with my child's dentist, right? Dental care is expensive. So I sat with him, but he was so boring. I didn't even tell him who I was. Like, he kept looking at me like he knew who I was, and I was just like, oh, we're just meeting. But he was really boring. And then a couple of the other tables I sat at, you could tell the guys weren't interested in me at all. They're like watching the sports over my head. And then when I sat with Chris, he was just so nice. And we determined at that point that I was teaching at a Montessori school at the time, and Donnie in my class, well, Donnie's mother, Sherry, worked at Chico's with Chris. So we had that connection, and this was in July. And then, well, I got hungry and I left. I left early. So I didn't give anyone my number or anything. I just left. That's how Lisa is. You know, she gets hungry and she's gone. But so then school started, you know, a month and a half later, and Donnie's mom's they're like, Chris Girardi wants to see you again. And I'm like, well, I'm dating someone. I was dating this loser, but still, I was like, I'm not going to date two guys at once.
My loser.
Um, yeah. So So we didn't go out on our first date till Martin Luther King Day of 2005, after meeting July of 2004. And then we bought a house together, Derby Day 2005, and got married October 2005. And no one was pregnant. Um, and we've been fine. I mean, we have our little arguments here and there. Everybody gets snippy, but you know, 20 years coming up.
So you from the speed date to the first actual date was a long time, and then things escalated very quickly, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. How did you know like that was the right fit for you?
Well, he was really nice, really not like anybody I've dated before. And I was homesick with my son one day, and he called me and he's like, "Well, I'm on my way out of work. Do you need me to drop off anything for you?" And I said, "Actually, some Sprite would be great." So he came in, he dropped off the Sprite, and I said to my son, come out and say hi to Chris. And he came out and vomited at Chris's feet. And I said, okay, hold on, I'll be right back. And I took him, changed him, and all that, came back, and Chris was cleaning up the vomit. So
There
that's
you
when I
go.
knew,
There you
yeah,
go.
this
That.
is a good guy right here. It's a keeper. I will never have to clean up puke again.
Oh my gosh, it's funny how those little things
Hmm.
can be the sign though, right? That makes perfect sense to me. Look, anyone who's been through the trials and tribulations of both marriage and raising children could completely
Hmm.
relate to that story for sure. We I had one time, it was gosh, I don't know, it was 25. It was a long time ago. The kids were still young and everybody was sick and my wife was sick. And she rarely got sick when you know how it is as a mom. You're kind of
Yeah, you never
immune.
get it.
Yeah, you're immune to your own kids' stuff, right? Well, not this time.
Hmm.
And so everybody was sick and they were all in separate rooms in the house and everybody had their designated vomit container. You know, there was a bowl in
Hmm.
this, there was a bucket in this room, there was a plastic bag in this room. And I was going around cleaning shit up and taking crackers to people and all this stuff. And I finally got to the point where everyone was asleep. And I literally just got in my car and drove around for an hour. I'm like, I got to get out of this fucking vomit fest
Yeah.
here. For
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I totally get that. Just get out of there.
Yeah, but it's those little moments too that you look back on and talk about and joke about, you know, so many years later. Like I'm sure that, you know, he knew he was the guy for me when he was cleaning up my kids' puke. That's when I knew.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
And he always did throughout our son living with us. What do we say? He didn't puke into a receptacle until he was 15. For
Oh
some
really?
reason, he always had I gotta puke now. Boom. There it is. Yeah, he did. When he was a baby, they told me he did have like a reflux situation, maybe a hiatal hernia. I don't know. He was on medication for a while. But yeah, no, he didn't puke into a receptacle until he was 15. So Chris got a lot of practice puking. And the funny thing is, if he puked in the middle of the night, he would go get Chris. He would not, he always knew, do not bother my mom with this.
Hey, I will say in defense of your son, I am also a spontaneous vomiter. I can be
Yeah,
just fine, and then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, up it comes. So
right, right. No,
yeah.
I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny because it- I can't. It was a long, long time ago, but I was asleep in bed and I woke up and I had caramel corn that night for some reason,
Oh
and
no.
it didn't sit right with me. And I knew I wasn't going to make it to the bathroom, so I got up and I opened the window behind our bed and I leaned out the window and puked into our backyard, and it ruined caramel corn for me for about 15 years because it was just one of those bad associations.
Oh
Like
yeah, of
still picture
course.
myself hanging out the window, up comes the caramel corn, and nope, no more of that stuff for me.
Wow. I'm
Forget
glad you
about.
had a window.
Yeah, for sure, it would have got ugly
Yeah.
if there was no window there. So do you on your Facebook group on parents that have had tough childhoods or don't have role models or like are looking
Mhm.
for answers, what's the most common question or issue that you see talked about there?
Well, right now we're talking about the whole how it didn't just start with our parents, right? So
Mm,
my mother's mother scrubbed her teeth with Comet because she complained about the tooth powder. I mean,
mm,
there's some mommy dearest level stuff happening that goes way back. And it makes me wonder what happened to my grandmother that made her that way. So we do just talk about the generational stuff. And recently, we've been talking about how siblings, maybe we don't talk to our siblings either because that's dysfunctional also. My husband really only talks to one of his four siblings because the others are just really cold people.
mm.
So,
Well,
go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. I sorry to interrupt you. I thought you were done.
Oh, I was pretty much. I was just saying we talk about all sorts of generational trauma.
Yeah, the sibling thing is interesting. You had said you had a brother, right? Or you have a brother?
My full brother is deceased. I have one half brother who is deceased, and then I have one half brother living in Texas.
Hmm. Yeah, I grew up with three sisters, and it's we all grew up in the same house with the same parents, but at least one of them has a very different recollection of how things were, and
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
find that very odd. Because I was there, like I saw it all, I witnessed it all, I was there for it, and
Right.
for the one sibling to have a very different version of events is really difficult for me to wrap my mind around.
Hmm. My brother was like that. My mother gave up custody of my brother. So he grew up with our father and I lived with her. And even though she gave up custody of him and wouldn't take him back, when she died, he's all over Facebook. She was the best mom in the world. And I'm like, Tony, for real? Come on. In the world? I don't know.
Maybe state. I don't know. Maybe I could give you a state, but that's a
Uh,
stretch.
yeah.
County block.
Maybe
Some.
block. Maybe block. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Excuse me. And where do you see going with writing? I know you said like, you're not looking to be Stephen King or whatever, but how do you see writing
Uh-huh.
fitting into your life going forward?
I want to do more workshops and things like that. I did a workshop at our local library on Saturday, and I really liked seeing the aha moments and the people who wanted to share what they wrote, like how good it was and how much they are remembering. It wasn't even a trauma memoir writing workshop, it was just a memoir writing workshop. And I let them pick from a bag a prompt, and yeah, a lot of stuff came up. Like ladies older than me, just now figuring out that, like it's one woman said, I noticed there's a lot of things I didn't remember, and I think that's where the trauma happened. And I'm like, yes,
Mm,
yes, write it out. So I definitely just want to reach more people in person and online.
yeah, I love that. I think that's a great approach. And it's so funny to that's a very seems to be a very common thing where people, say I didn't remember this until X happened, and then all of a sudden, like it opened up this flood of
Hmm.
things. Do you see people experience that a lot through the writing process, at least from the memoirs?
Yeah, definitely. Because you start writing about one thing and then these things pop into your head, that weren't there before. For me, like I've always remembered everything, but I think I may have forgotten some things because medical procedures I've had panic attacks over,
Mm,
like anything like sort of invasive. I cannot be awake for that. So I think there's other stuff that I'm not remembering.
got it. Yeah, who knows? I mean, the mind is such a tricky thing, I mean, it's so complex and it works so different in lots of different. I mean, are there commonalities? Sure, but everybody's wired just a little bit differently. And so it's hard to
Uh-huh.
figure out what works for one person might not work for another person, et cetera, et cetera. But it's
Uh-huh.
it's one of the things I love about doing the podcast is I get to talk to so many interesting people and hear so many interesting stories. And I learn so much. And I think that curiosity has served me well. It's exposed me to so many different things. And like I'm a very open-minded person. I'm not judgment. It's not my place to judge
Hmm.
other people's thoughts or decisions. Or I mean, if someone's anti-Semitic or misogynistic, yeah, okay, I'll jump in there. But
Hmm.
other than those kind of really broad, super obvious things, I don't really care. And I get to learn so much because people are so willing to talk about stuff if they know you're not going to come at them with things. Um,
Right. Yeah. I have friends, from all over the political, religious spectrum. And my thing is, I just like to get to know people as people. I don't
Me
want to know
too.
what box you think you fit into, because you probably don't fit into that box all the way anyway. And that box probably doesn't actually really exist. What is we were talking about this the other day, like 10% on each side of the political spectrum are the noisy ones, and then there's all of us people in the middle that just want to get along.
Totally agree. I had like an epiphany of exactly that. We were in Chicago and we were there for one of our son's birthdays. We just took a trip over to celebrate his birthday and we had some family meet us there and it was fun. But we were
Hmm.
on the L one night. It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it was busy. You know, it was a winter night in Chicago and everybody was trying to get home from
Hmm.
work. And there was all sorts of different people on the L, black, white, young, old, men, women, didn't matter. And if there was an elderly person that was standing, somebody got up and gave them their seat. And when people had to get off at
Hmm.
their stop, people got out of their way or helped them with their packages, or everybody shifted
Yeah.
around. And it occurred to me like I knew it before, but it really just drove home the point that a lot of what we see in the media is total bullshit. Like it's just
Hmm.
manufactured bullshit, and
Hmm.
all of these people are out in the world and everybody wants the same thing. They want good things for themselves and their family. They want to be able to afford food and go on vacations and
Hmm.
buy nice things for their kids and own a house. And like, it's not complicated. And most
Right.
people, we share all of those things. And if you're willing to just get to know someone, you're going to find out all those things about them. It's not as challenging as we make it sometimes. So,
Right. Just talk to someone like they're actually real, sit down, kind of like this, kind of like they're not just, you're not seeing a little box.
yeah, exactly. Exactly right. No, I love that. I love that. Well, so one of the things I do, so I ask a lot of questions, we cover a lot of territory, but I always open up the floor to our guests. Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you feel strongly about? Or is there a topic we haven't talked about that you want to talk about while we're in front of the audience?
I not really. I think we've covered it all. If I think of something at 3 in the morning, I'll give you a call though, because that's usually when I think of things.
Sounds good. So long as it's not in the shower, because I don't want to have to explain to my lovely wife why there's a woman calling me when she's in the shower. So
Right, right. You never want to, yeah,
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 three
right.
3 in the morning is fine. In the shower, that's a
Yeah,
different story.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to get stabbed. I understand that.
So you've met my wife, clearly.
Yeah, yeah, we're besties. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So, yeah, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on. The book is Chasing Normal. If you are a writer or interested in writing a memoir, go to Lisa's website. We'll have it in the show notes, but it's her name, Lisa Gerardy, and note the spelling Gerardy. Not like the catcher Joe Girardi with an I.
Right.
Um, there's a famous baseball player named Girardi, and he's Italian with an I at the end of it. So
Yeah, yeah.
but anyhow, really appreciate you coming on, Lisa. Really enjoyed our conversation. We'll have links to all Lisa's stuff in the show notes, and it was great having you on.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joe.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Have a great night.
You too.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye bye. Good job.
Awesome.
Yeah,
No,
thank
it
you so
was
much. That was a
fun.
great conversation.
Yeah, it was. It was. I always get a little nervous before these things, but then I think it's not stand-up comedy, so I'll be fine.
I don't know. You, I would have liked to seen some of your routines. You've got the same kind of dry, sarcastic wit that I have. Like when you were like, young Lisa didn't carry the one, that got me. That was a good
I
one.
did not. Oh my gosh. I separate myself like my best friend Laura, we, signed up to do a lot of stuff this week that we don't really want to do. Like, sorry, Joe, but last night we went to a baseball game and it's so boring. But you would have loved it. We went to the Diamondbacks.
Baseball can be pretty fucking boring. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told her, she's like, why are we here? Why did we sign up for this? And I said, I think this was Drunk Lisa's doing. I think Drunk Lisa is the one that said, yes, we'll do that. And I think I need like a breathalyzer on my phone before it lets me text, like, nope, nope, you cannot commit to activities right now. Yeah,
Amazon, yeah, Amazon would be out of business if there was a breathalyzer on the buy now button.
for real, for real. Yeah, it's always a surprise to me too whenever my son mimics me to his girlfriend, that's what he does. He picks up an Amazon box. What did I order?
I was convinced for a while that my wife was having an affair with the Amazon guy because he was coming to our house every freaking day.
Right, right. I mean, and she could be.
Yeah, right. You don't know. You don't
Yeah,
know.
both things could be true.
Whatever. It's probably good that I travel a lot. Gives her a lot of time to spend with her boyfriend, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of you.
Oh my gosh, good stuff. Yeah, so really appreciate you coming on. If you can get us, you got plenty of time, but get us headshots and any of the stuff you want us to include in the show notes. So your
Okay.
website, a link to your book on Amazon or wherever else you can purchase it. We'll put all that in the show notes so it's easy for people to get to. And yeah, I think we're good to go.
Thanks so much. It's been
Yeah,
fun.
go give therapy to your Velcro Danes.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Be prepared when you open the closet door. The attack is coming.
Oh, I know. They'll knock me over.
Yeah. All right.
All
Thanks,
right,
Lisa.
thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, guys, there you go. So Lisa did not disappoint. She was very funny. Her little young Lisa forgot to carry the one. Man, that caught me. I love the dry, sarcastic humor. She's so good with that when she was talking. And she's got her memoir out there talking about some her life and the things that have happened in her life and what she's learned from those things. And really appreciate her coming on and being candid about those things, be willing to share what she's learned through those experiences that could help others that are out there that might be dealing with something similar and understand it's not just them, that you can make it through and build a really good life for herself. She's got great relationship with her husband of 20 years and loves what she does for work and got really good things going on in her life. And so we really appreciate Lisa spending some time with us on the podcast and sharing her story with us. So thank you again, Lisa. Really appreciate it. James puts it up over here every day. Head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All our podcast episodes are available there. We've got links to all our social media accounts there. We publish a newsletter every weekday that you can subscribe to on our website. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. We're going to keep having awesome guests on that are going to give you great tips and share their stories so that you can build a meaningful, purposeful life for you. We're going to give you great tips and action items every week that you can incorporate into your life right now to start making your life the way you want it to be and working towards the things you want. You don't want to miss any of that stuff because it's going to really help you. Make sure you catch our next episode. We'll see you there.